Okay, so on following on from all of the behind the scenes interviews that we've been doing, here we are at Bay Road in Victoria, and many of you will know Justin, and we're just going to find out a little bit about Justin, about some of the things that you might not know about Justin. So thank you for having us here again, Justin. And we're in a little corner of Bay Road that probably most people won't find because it's too darn busy out there. There's people out there everywhere.
So, nice spring day.
Yep. So you've been involved in horticulture for most of your life.
Yeah. I think I didn't really know what I was going to do. You know, when I left school a year earlier than most people, and my father had a business which his father started in 1956, and Dad sort of took it over in the early 70s.
Yeah.
Which was Essendon Garden Centre in Mount Alexander Road. So I started working there and did my apprenticeship in 1983. I went to Oakley Tech back in those days, which is now Holmes Clinic, and did my apprenticeship and basically worked without any holidays for, I reckon, 15 years or 20 years.
Yep. That's how it works.
As you do, and we expanded that business from a small garden centre. We bought a property out the back, and we bought that huge building next door, and we were heavily involved in the nursery brand back in those days, and then Plants Plus, and I got heavily involved in the marketing and tried to be a bit of an innovator in multi-buying and different ways to sell different parts of the horticultural range. And then, as happened in a lot of businesses, I was there for 24 years. My father got an offer he couldn't refuse for the freehold, and he was how old was he then? 70. In 2007, and so he sold that, and that business is gone, unfortunately. But of course, I always knew David and Gillian, who had this business in Sandringham, and I've always lived Bayside. And I think initially I was actually going to maybe approach the Gills group of people because I knew them well, but David gave me a call and said, what are you doing this spring? And I said, well, actually, I can come and give you a hand. And he had a manager that had just left, and that was spring of 08. So I came and started working for David and Gillian, just on just gave them an invoice every week, and they gave me a check, and that's how it went. And but I made a lot of changes in the first year, to some of the staff that were here and the way that the nursery was set up. And I think eventually we got to a point where we realised that we could grow this business further. And after many discussions and toing and froing, we came to a point where they could employ me full time, and we both agreed on that, and that worked really well. And then, of course, probably 7 or 8 years later, the opportunity came with Gillian stepping out of the business for David and I to become partners and sharing the business 50-50. And I look after a lot of the retail side of the business. David looks after our landscaping side of the business, and together I think we're different people, we work very, very well. And we've been really lucky to have such a great little business together, and it's been very successful, and we quite enjoy it.
It's been fantastic, and certainly Bay Road Nursery is an icon of garden centres, and I think everyone would have visited Bay Road Nursery on their trips to Victoria, and certainly we bring you here often. And it was exciting to work with you guys to set up that partnership. And normally they don't work. Normally partnerships don't work. But you guys are very unique in the way that you can work together. And it's just been fantastic. And like you said, the business has gone from strength to strength, and you've brought a very different push to the business, which has worked extremely well. So thinking back, so really all your life has been about garden centres and about horticulture. What are some of the changes that you've seen since those early days? How is retailing different now to the days back at Essendon Garden Centre?
Well, I guess back in the early days, being a horticulturalist and having horticultural knowledge was super important. And people were eager for knowledge, and they wanted to ask lots of questions, and they wanted to get your knowledge and put it into their garden. Where, as we discussed before, these days so many people have got their own knowledge. They know what sort of plants they probably want, but a lot of people are just happy to buy what looks good in the nursery at the time, and to put into the garden. And if they get some success, great, and if they don't, they'll come back and buy another one. And I think, therefore, you know, our range of staff are much younger now.
Yep.
We've got a lot of younger girls, and they're really, really good at, you know, acknowledging customers, helping customers, asking them questions of what they might want. And even though their horticultural knowledge is not as good as mine, for instance, if they've got a question, they'll ask me or a couple of good horticulturists that we've got. But they seem to really look after the customers very, very well and process the sale, and they're in touch with the look and the style of what people want these days.
Yep. So I guess one of the things that we've loved about working with you guys, and it's certainly part of your success, is that you've been prepared to change, do things differently, recognise that it's a different clientele, it's a different marketplace out there, and it's worked really well for you. The other thing that Bay Road is known for is colour. You've always been famous for colour. That's still an important part of your strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it is. Every morning we have a ritual where we drag out, you know, 20 trolleys out to the front and display the whole front of the business. And the council are very nice. We pay them the right fees, but we displayed it there, and it's, you know, that's our advertising. It's right out the front door there. It is always colour. And we sort of made a decision a while back that we try and have the first half of the garden centre. It's going to have flowers on it. It's going to be seasonal. It's going to have flowers on it, and it's going to give you some inspiration when you walk in. And we're always full. And we're a very small size business here. We fit a lot into a small space. So it's like a game of Tetris all the time. You've got to work out where things fit. But we know it well enough now. We know how we can do it. And that's still a main part of our business. Though, having said that, you know, colour isn't quite as strong as it used to be maybe 10 years ago. Now, what has certainly picked up is giftware. Not just giftware, I should say, gifts. So we wrap so many plants. People know that they can come here and buy something for you know, a friend or whatever it might be, that is relevant, that is pretty, that'll be wrapped, and they can get an easy park at the front, and you know, it just makes it easy for them. So it is so much wrapped plants these days, it's amazing.
We're actually talking about this the other day, where it is such good value. You know, a wrap plant, $50, $100, still fantastic value, and it's something that we probably don't push enough, or we're not aware enough of. So that's brilliant.
Plants are easy to buy, you know, and they're on trend at the moment. Even if you just buy a wrapped up herb, it's a great gift for somebody.
And they look so much more expensive than what they are. Don't they?
Well, I've always been an advocate to keep prices up a bit.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the little chat.
Thank you.
It's been great to be here and to have some of the insight behind Justin and behind Bay Road, and we look forward to all meeting up at Bay Road again very soon.